Just moving on with our 5 elements of training. Today we're going to be covering the third element, priority, which is technique. At the moment I'm just on my 2-hour walk run, actually in my Disciples, pretty much most of my race gear, including new shirt for Disciples, hood and face mask built in, 5 kilo pack, which should be the weight when we get to day 4, which is the long 100k stage. Same shoes, so we're testing out all the gear. But moving on, 5 elements of training. First priority was aerobic, so it's really conditioning all the systems in the body that support our body while we are exercising. Blood flow through the system, which transports and collects oxygen, glycogen, movement of all that energy right through to the muscles, movement of blood to the surface of the skin so we can cool or heat. It has to be right on point if we're going to go any sort of distance beyond. Well, second priority, muscular endurance. So it's conditioning the muscles to do the number of repetitions we actually need to do in whatever sport we're doing so we can finish the race without slowing down from a muscular perspective. The third element I see in terms of priority is technique. Now, technique is really important. Quite often when we train, we're just focusing on strength, power, propulsion, and we're not thinking of the how. Quite often we think of putting in all the effort, the hard work, pushing ourselves forward all the time. What we're not always focusing on is what are the resistant forces in what we're doing and the way we're actually propelling ourselves forward. What are the awkward moments? What are the inefficient propulsion actions we're actually taking and correcting those? Now the difference, if you look at age groupers and the elites, the primary difference in performance is technique. Right? They've got very limited or their resistant forces are way less than any age grouper. Swimming, as their streamlining is on point, their catch and propulsion is great. Running, they're never landing with their feet in front of them, so they need to get over those feet. The resistant forces on the run, there's no scuffing of the feet. When the foot hits the ground, it's immediately going into an action of propulsion and also elevation to get flight for the run. For the bike, setup's perfect. Rotation of the legs. Now sometimes elites can look awkward in the upper body. He looks awkward when he runs, but if you actually analyze his legs and his body position, it's actually it's really. So don't judge an athlete, an elite athlete that's doing well on how awkward they look in the upper body movements. Have a look at the propulsive forces and the resistant forces. Now, when we train, we've got to have an element of how we're improving the propulsive and resistance. Reducing resistance, it takes a lot of focus. It takes understanding. It takes looking at videos for yourself, comparing them to what good looks like. It's potentially using coaches on what is wrong with your technique in all 3 sports. Talking about proper bike setup that's going to be efficient. It's not causing you to undue stress in your body, try and handle the bike and stay on the bike and putting your body in positions that it shouldn't be. Swim, it's like the recovery of the arm, making sure it's a nice loose recovery and you're not getting your elbow behind your shoulder and resistant force in terms of your recovery. It's making sure you get that forearm down early so it's facing the back of the pool or behind you very early in the stroke so you can maximize the propulsion. It's getting those hips ups in the swim. All those elements. Like swim, it takes retraining muscle memory. That takes a lot of focus. Do not underestimate the amount of focus it actually requires. It's the hard bit of training. They say do the hard work and you'll get there. Sometimes the hard work is training the brain, the muscle memory, reprogramming how you are moving is actually the hard work. It's not all physical. A lot of these sports, particularly if we come into them as an adult, we have to relearn how to run like a kid again. It takes a lot of focus. And that's where, to me, the real hard work is. All these 5 elements, I always say there's an element of train to failure. Right? And the adaptations do not work unless you get to the point, from either a muscular perspective, endurance perspective, you get into that point where it begins to break down. And then when we sleep, our body recognizes it's failed. And when we recover, it will focus on those elements to make us better. With technique, we train technique while we can focus on it. So if you're trying to change something, right, you do drills for running on the spot, and then changing your direction from propulsion direction from straight up to 7 degrees upwards to move forward. You can do that, but only do it as long as you can actually focus it and you can feel you're getting it right. Swim, if you're working on your catch or your timing, focus at one thing at a time, focus on it, get it right. If you feel your mind starting to wander, bring it back. And if you can't bring it back, stop. Because otherwise you'll just be practicing things that are not good. Third element to training, definitely technique. It is the element that makes the difference between the people that are really going fast, the pros, and the age groupers. Think about it. If I give you a gym program for 6 months in a gym, and you recover well and you eat well, you'll probably have more lift power than a lot of the elite triathletes or runners out there. That is the easy bit. Doing that hard work to build muscle is hard physically, but it's actually something you can just do. Repeat, get a program, turn up, and you get it done. Technique is not like that. Technique takes focus, it takes discipline, it takes mental tenacity, it takes understanding, it takes visualization. There's a whole lot more elements in changing technique, but it's just the one that's going to make you successful at the end of the day, combined with the others. Big focus on technique, getting things right. It will make you faster by removing resistant forces. Want to make you faster because your propulsive forces will be more efficient. 3, less downtime because of injuries, because you're doing biomechanics that your body is not meant to do. So focus on technique. It's worth spending a little bit of money on bike setups, maybe a coach, maybe some video analysis to understand the difference between what you're doing and what you should be doing, and then you can find ways of actually doing those corrections. Anyway, hope this helped. Next time we'll be talking about strength and how at the 4th element of training, strength, how we focus on strength, what it does for us, how we can get it right in the training program.